So I recently heard that Catholics added 7 books to the Old Testament, books that Protestants later removed. I wondered, is it true? Let me explain what I found out in 60 seconds. The 7 books in question are called the deuterocanonical books by the Catholics and apocryphal books by Protestants. For ease, we're going to call these the books in question. For starters, we should know what the Jewish Old Testament wasn't. It wasn't a static thing, but there were different versions among different groups of Jews at the time. Some were more conservative with what they considered scripture, and others were looser. For Jews outside of Judea, the language of the Bible itself needed to change to fit the needs of the people. You see, at the time, most Jews outside of Judea spoke Greek, not Hebrew, and around the year 200 before Christ, Jews had completed their translation of the Old Testament from Hebrew into Greek. This translation was called the Septuagint. This version of the Old Testament contained the 7 books in question. But how do we know that Jews or Christians used the Septuagint? There are a few reasons. 1. The New Testament quotes from the Septuagint roughly 80% of the time. 2. Some references in the Old Testament only make sense if you use the Septuagint, like this verse. 3. The earliest Christians, many of whom were converts from Judaism, used the Septuagint translation of the Old Testament. 4. The oldest complete Christian Bibles contain the 7 books in question. Given this evidence, you could safely say that they aren't in question anymore, even